Hi everybody, and welcome to Magic xpa 3 live Q&A session. We'd like to welcome you, and we hope you're going to enjoy the session. So who's in the room? My name is Itai Galmor. I'm the VP Global Marketing and Business Development. I will be the moderator for today's session. Yuval Asheri, our VP Technical Product Management, and Eyal Rosenberg, a product manager. There will be the experts that can help us clarify any questions that you may have. As well, joining us, Yuval Avi, our VP Corporate for Professional Services and Support. And we hope you're going to enjoy today's session. So, the rules of the game. We have a 10 minutes view of what's new. Then it will be followed by the Q&A. If you have any questions, type in your question. We ask you that you will do it on a public chat to all, so everybody could view it, and we can pick the question that may be relevant. We'll answer as many as possible during the call. Hopefully, we'll manage to answer them all. But if not, we will send you the Q&A questions and responses after the call. We'll start with the questions already submitted on the registration page, and hope everybody has the chance to view the pre-release version that we've released. It will be technical because most of the questions, it might be technical. Most of the questions are relevant to the people who actually tested and played with it a little bit. And if you have additional questions, you can email me. I will be happy to find you the answers. All right, so just to recap, you can see a quotation from the Ovum report, which is an analyst that have reviewed a recent product. It will be helpful to understand what is XPA if you're not already aware of what it is. I'll let you read it by yourself. If you have any more questions about what Magic XPA in general is, I'm not sure this is the right session, but I'm sure that if you'll send me an email, I'll make sure that you'll get the answers. So, what's new in XPA 3? We've implemented in-memory computing, meaning that we have enhanced messaging layer based on IMDG. We're very proud of it. And we obviously have the ability now to in-memory data processing. We are, I think, capable, and we're ready for big data, fast data, and we're quite proud of it, especially that some of our customers are actually starting using it. Enhanced integrated development environment. We will make a little bit more details about it, but everybody that actually tried the new version know what we mean. And we have new powerful mobile development capabilities that kind of across the board, a lot of tweaks, a lot of improvements that make XPA 3 capable and ready for, even more ready for the mobile era that we are actually in it. Some graphic visualization of what's new. You can see that we have the different developments and enhancements that we've incorporated in the version 3. Fits different topologies, both client-server, RIA, and we can give some more details about these features. I'll hand it to Yuval Asheri to give some more details about each feature. Yuval.
Thanks. Hi, guys. Just to set expectations straight, we're not going to demo version 3 here. We're just going to browse through these different features to better understand what they're about. The main issue here is for you to ask questions and for us to provide answers. So a few words about each of these features that version 3 offers. The messaging layer. For those of you who have already worked with our broker in previous versions, we have actually taken the broker and replaced it with an in-memory data grid that will provide the messaging layer. This is a product called Zap from a company called Gigaspace. It's OEM'd inside the product and now provides a new messaging layer. The idea is also to change the whole way of working with the messages that pass from our client modules to the server module by using the in-memory data grid. And this environment is okay, sorry about that. Okay, back to the data grid. The whole idea of brokering messages, we're leaving that idea and we're moving on to using an in-memory data grid, which means that our engines will actually connect to this space, this set of computers that have a large, big chunk of memory that's being used for our messages. And engines will take messages from there and execute. We will also allow for applications to use this large chunk of memory inside the application, just as you would access any other database such as Oracle or SQL Server. And thus you have a large non-volatile piece of memory that you can use for your applications. Another option would be to actually take your existing database, such as Oracle or SQL Server in your organization, and upload it to the space, to the in-memory data grid, for it to be a big piece of cache for your applications. This should improve your application's performance. If we go on further and take this idea one step ahead, you can actually use the in-memory data grid to load, like I said, your Oracle SQL Server data and actually access it through your application and allow the in-memory data grid to update the database behind the scenes, what's called write behind. So your application will not access the database directly, but will access memory inside the grid, and the grid will update the database on its own asynchronously. Moving on to the IDE, we're offering a new Visual Studio based IDE. Right now it's only for the form designer, for the GUI form designer. When you enter the studio, you will see the good old studio from previous versions, but once you enter the form, you'll see that you're in Visual Studio, which means that you actually gain from the Visual Studio environment everything that has to do with docking and so on. There's a modern workspace there that Visual Studio offers. We also offer a new document outline for the controls, a new property sheet, a new expression editor that you will enjoy. So basically, we've tried to enhance the development environment in the place that we thought would give our programmers the most possible gain, which is designing forms. One more small feature that we would like to mention here, when you actually drop a .NET control on the form, now you will see the .NET control as you would see it in runtime instead of just a placeholder for the control. We've added some more features for mobile development, and specifically in the IDE, what we've added is what we call the mobile design mode. where you actually tell the environment that you're going to develop for mobile, which changes everything that has to do with defaults, sizes, and so on. We also have what we call the mobile preview, which allows you to see how your application will look on different mobile devices of your choice, in landscape and portrait, so that you can actually design your form and see exactly how you will see it in runtime before even running one piece of code. Last but not least, amongst other features, we now provide for encryption for the SQLite database on the mobile devices and, of course, on the back end for security reasons, since mobile devices, you would sometimes want to encrypt your data. Like I mentioned, for security reasons. So this is a short recap of some of the, most of the major features and some of the minors in version 3. So we'll move on to Q&A.
Right. Thank you, Val. I hope that it was clarify a little bit this short recap. I invite everybody to ask questions. We see them online. Without further ado, let's move to our to the question that were asked in the registration phase. And the first one: does this version need new licensing? We're asked from the Netherlands, as well as, is this a free upgrade for those who have valid licenses for xpa 2?
Okay, so the answer to this one is yes, this version needs a new license. And for the second question, is this a free upgrade? This is a commercial issue that depends on the local branch. So this is something that you have to take up with your local distributor or branch. And of course, it depends on whether you've paid maintenance for the last few years or not. But in general, again, it's a local issue that you should approach your branch to finalize.
All right, so please contact your local salesperson. I'm sure he would be happy to assist you and give you straight answers. Next one: will Magic xpa 3 need a different runtime license, or does it still use the version 2 license?
Okay, well, this has to do with the first question that was asked here. Yes, it needs a different runtime license. It cannot use the version 2 license.
Can I define devices of my own in the mobile preview other than the one offered?
The answer is yes. We provide a set of predefined devices like iPhone 5, 4, all kinds of tablets and so forth. They're all defined in a section in the Magic INI file so that you can change it, add devices of your own, and you will see them in the mobile preview pane in the studio according to your own choice.
Great. So perfect for mobile, isn't it? Q&A. Will there be a free single-user version?
Yes, there will be a free single-user version available on the web once the version is released for public availability. You'll be able to download the single-user version as well.
May 12th is the date that we plan to release the general availability version, and we will have the single-user version at this date. Next question, coming from Canada, on the registration: how can Magic xpa 3 be configured to take advantage of multi-core processors?
Okay, Magic xpa 3 has nothing new to offer in this arena of multi-core processors, but in general, you have to remember that Magic xpa is a multi-threaded application, and each thread can be run by a different core on the processor. So this especially is, of course, important in server-based applications where your engine provides for multiple users and executes multiple requests, so that each thread that runs one request can be used by a different processor. This completely depends on the operating system and what it decides to do. But this is in general the behavior of multi-core, of multi-threaded applications in multi-core machines.
Okay, let's have some questions that were, I can see the next question. We'll shortly move to the question that you're submitting online. If you have questions, please write them. I remind you, write them to all, so we can look at them and we can answer them. Let's take one of the questions that were submitted right now. All right, let's move to this one. After closing Magic XPA 3, Windows 7 Professional always says Magic XPA Studio has stopped working. How can we close it without an error?
Well, you can't. You have to live with this for the end of time. No, just kidding. This looks like a problem either maybe specifically with Magic 7, with Windows 7 Professional, or with the version that you have right now. This should be solved. So we would need a reproduction of this problem and try to attack it and solve it.
All right. Some questions that were asked online. Is there a demo of XPA 3 before the Q&A?
Yeah.
Well,
there is no demo of version 3 before the Q&A.
I guess we know that already. Where can I get the beta version? Didn't know about that until last week. I can see. Well, actually, you can contact your salesperson, local salesperson. He will gladly send you the pre-release. But if you wait patiently, a couple of weeks, we will have the general availability and the single edition online.
This question was by Thomas.
Right. Another question by Thomas. Is the project system ready for DVCs like GAT right now?
Okay. Again, a question by Thomas. In general, the studio connects to version control softwares that are SEC compliant, Microsoft SEC compliant, because this is the API that we use. So if JIT is SEC compliant, which I am not sure, then it will work with our studio. If not, then it won't. But in general, we test our product with a variety of version control software that are all SEC compliant.
Okay. Question by Marka. Is this version faster with components? It is. Not sure we understand it. We have a consortium here trying to understand the question.
If the question is this version faster with components, then I don't see any reason for it to be faster with components. We didn't do anything especially in that arena.
All right. Which mobile operating systems are supported? Question by Alice.
Yeah, you want to?
Yeah.
Actually, we support Android 4 and above and iOS 6 and above. Actually, iOS 6 is not really used now, so maybe in the future version we will remove it.
Okay. How is can the IMDG be used for particular tables, groups of tables, to improve the performance of a particular application feature?
Okay, this question is by Lee. Just go with it because you missed the question. Okay, so referring to Lee's question, yes, you can load a particular set of tables to the space in order to improve the performance of a particular application feature, yes. But again, you need to decide if the application is going to access this table just as cache memory, or if you want this table to be the main table and have the grid update the database using write behind. But yes, you can load particular tables.
Can see another
question. How's integration?
I know there's a couple of, I can see Lee has asked a couple of
Okay.
additional questions about the IMDG. Maybe it's the right time to answer them. Another two questions. Is the IMDG shared between clients on a terminal server environment, and how much RAM is required per runtime engine?
Okay, the grid is basically a set of machines that participate in the game. Okay. So these are the machines that contribute to the grid. Now, the clients that access the grid can be in a terminal server or can be on separate machines. This has nothing to do with the grid itself. So the answer is yes, the grid is shared between clients on a terminal server environment, but this is not relevant. It's shared between all of the clients that access the grid.
It's not like a memory table.
It's a big chunk of memory that all of these machines that participate in the grid, they all share the memory. They all become one big piece of memory. That's the idea.
Question by Alice. How is the migration from version 2 is done? Yuval?
Okay, well, the migration from version 2 to version 3 is very simplistic. All you need to do is to open the project with a new studio, and you're there.
Seamless.
Seamless. Just create a backup of your project before you do.
All right. We've got Yuval Avi actually online. Let me see if we can have him talk in a minute. How does the debugger work? Can we place a breakpoint in .NET code? This is a question from Hungary by Peter.
No, actually you cannot. .NET code is one operation in Magic, so you cannot write breakpoints in the .NET code itself.
All right. Question by Jean-Michel. How do we have to buy Visual Studio?
Okay, the answer is no, you don't have to buy Visual Studio. We're actually working inside an isolated shell of Visual Studio, and it's installed when you install the product itself. So there's no need to buy Visual Studio. But if you do have Visual Studio, again, it's disconnected to the isolated shell.
Which connects to the next question by Peter. As we are moving more to a Visual Studio-based designer, can we access more properties of the native controls?
We have this one in our wish list because all of our controls are native controls. Actually, regardless to the studio, this is a runtime feature. One of the changes in version 2 was to use .NET controls. So it's in our plans to support more properties of the native controls.
All right. Question by Hans. When will Unix versions be available?
Okay, Hans, this was expected, your question. We are already testing the first platform, the first Unix platform, which would be AIX. I assume it will take us just a few weeks to release version 3 on AIX, and following that would be Linux, System I, and Solaris in that order. So it's a matter of weeks.
Okay. Question by Lee. How does the IMDG work with the client-server environment? Does the server also need the application installed to cache the data into memory? Or can clients with lower RAM will take advantage of the RAM on the server?
Okay. Lee's question refers to accessing the grid as a data placeholder for data access, nothing to do with the messaging layer. So, like I explained before, the grid defines which computers participate in the game. The clients that access the grid might not be those machines. They're different machines altogether, and they gain from being able to access the space that is defined in the in-memory data grid. So yes, clients with lower RAM can take advantage of the RAM on the grid. That's the whole idea.
Perfect. Hans asked, why not running from network?
This is a limitation of Visual Studio itself. You can't install Visual Studio on some common network and run it from there. You need to install it locally. We have seen, by the way, all kinds of notes on people trying to run an application. When you have Visual Studio installed locally, people are trying to run an application that resides on the network. But that's as far as we saw regarding that. But running the studio itself isn't possible from the network.
And Lee, which is a very vivid participant in our Q&A, asks again, what are the minimum operating system requirements for Magic XP, or Magic 3, XPA 3?
It's actually the same as in version 2.5.
But twice.
The same.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same.
All right. Harold asks, I've read XPA 3 Studio won't run from a network drive anymore. Why is that, and will there be a workaround? I can see that's a thin question. The program, when using in-grid memory as cache, how is the transaction handling the backend database IG Oracle? Marcel asks, when using in-grid memory as cache, how is the transaction handling to the...
Okay, well, if the grid memory is just the cache, then there is no transaction there because all you do is read from the cache. If you actually write data into the grid, then the transactions in Magic work just like they do with other databases, and it will be just the same. The transactions are supported with the grid.
Let's move just to clarify, the visual is not stuck. We're just reading from questions that are submitted through the chat. We call everybody to ask you questions. Let's move to one of the pre-prepared questions. Just a sec. Is there an improvement to reports generation?
Okay, there isn't an improvement to reports generation in this version, but if you guys, if anyone thinks that there is a need for that, then of course we will like to hear your feedback and for our future plans.
All right. What is the recommended upgrade route from Unipass 1.8?
I recommend that you migrate through version 2, and from there take yourself to version 3. Remember that when upgrading to version 2, your online forms all switch to .NET controls. So there's a major change there in how your application might look. So this is the major step here, and from then on, moving to version 3 is basically a no-brainer.
Yeah, but if you will open your project in version 3, the migration will start also. So you don't have to install version 2 if you don't have it. If it's a license issue or not, you can still go from 1.8 to 3, no problems.
All right. Is the GigaSpaces Grid a licensable product like SAP Connector or SharePoint, or does it come with the XPA license?
A good question by Daniel. It is licensed from Magic point of view, meaning that your Magic license will need to specify whether you're allowed to work with the grid as a messaging infrastructure or for data access, or both. So the product is installed. ZAP is installed once you install the product, but you do need a license to use it with either one of the options that we provide.
All right. How does the grid work if the client gets shortly offline and return online? A question by Peter.
Actually, the grid works. I assume you mean the grid as a middleware, like instead of the broker. So it's the same as when using the broker. You have the context timeout, and it's the same operation. The runtime remains the same.
When will Windows Phone support be added to XPA? By Dan?
When, that depends basically on the market trend.
Maybe when Windows Phone have a market share of more than 2.6%.
If Windows Phone will pass a certain threshold, which it hasn't passed right now, then we'll reconsider our decision not to support it for the time being.
Can I migrate directly from Unipass 1.9 to xpa 3 by Luca?
Yes.
I love your short answers, Eyal. What happens to the client accessing the IMDG if one of the grid members goes offline? By Lee. Maybe we answered. Maybe you just
nothing
answered
happens.
it. Nothing happens.
The grid is secure, even if one or more of the participants in the grid falls, crashes the whole machine, then the grid manages to stay put and provide full functionality.
All right. Some of our questions that are already.
Oh, wait a minute. There's a question by Hans.
Are there improvements in the report designer or charts by from Brazil?
Okay.
No.
The answer is simple. No, there are no improvements.
Not at this version.
Designer. Okay.
Stay put. We will have a new version next in the year. All right. Let's by Hans. Will the Magic Broker be obsolete in time, replaced by MDG messaging?
That is the idea, Hans, to have the grid replace the broker altogether. At this stage, we decided to leave the broker there mainly for the studio, for testing purposes, since you don't need to have a whole grid there just for testing your one program and see how messages pass back and forth. So the broker is still there, but for deployment, this is our recommendation. Use the grid and not the broker, although it is there for your use if you decide to continue using it.
Satanand asked, any advancement in PDF creation, better compression and more settings, like PDF Creator?
No, this was not enhanced in version 3. But if you have specific issues which you would like to have, please email them to support or to your branch so we will be aware of them.
All right. Another question by Harold. Will an ECF created with XPA 2.5 work with XPA 3 runtime? I guess a lot of bugs are... Yep, that's a question.
Yes, it will continue to run. From the runtime point of view, I assume you also mean client server, but it doesn't really matter. There was no change in the file structure or runtime capabilities in terms of backward compatibility. So unlike from version 1 to version 2, from version 2 to version 3, there is no change, and the ECF will continue to run.
So there's no need to create a cabinet again. But the bugs will be fixed. The bugs are in the runtime engine.
Okay. Can we put controls on the GUI in the runtime?
Okay, this is a nice requirement, but the answer is no. The only way that you can do this, by the way, with version 2 as well, is by using snippets and writing native .NET code to create controls of your own during runtime.
Okay. Another one of our questions. This was from Hungary. I don't see another question. Here. Excuse me. Let's go back.
Okay, so
web services.
Support WPF? No. The answer is no. We don't plan to support WPF. The second question here about web services. We're not planning to remove SysTNet at this stage. What we are planning to do is to provide two things here. One, regarding web service consuming, we plan, and this isn't with version 3, it has to do with our future minor versions. We plan to provide a WCF option for consuming web services. Just like we're actually going to do with Magic XPI in the very near future. And we are also planning to provide a different way for providing web services. But since, again, we don't want to have our external consumers change the way they access web services, this will be done through SysTNet. But we will add some kind of additional, again, WCF component, but this is for future plans. I'm not sure exactly how this will look.
Okay.
Will you still continue?
Migration. I think we've talked about migration. Has stopped keystrokes in Citrix RDP been resolved? Question by Casey from USA on your screen.
Well, Casey isn't with us right now, so I guess this question isn't important for
everybody.
For everybody.
All right.
This question was asked.
Another question on your screen was already asked. And some last questions. And I again urge you to ask. Will you still continue version 2 after 2.5?
The answer is yes, we will. Version 2 will continue to live, and it is still in its maturity phase. So we're not stopping our support for version 2, but as you very well know, we can't support more than 2 active versions at a time. Slowly but surely, we will move our focus to version 3 as more customers will move there, and we will invest less in version 2, and at some stage stick to just major bug fixing.
Can we, a question by Marcel, can we put .NET controls in a table?
Currently, you still cannot do it. The reason for it is that .NET controls consume lots of memory as they are being real controls, and having them on a table with lots of lines pose a real issue of performance. So this is currently not possible, but we have it on our wish list to check this issue out and see what can be done to improve it.
All right. And last question, full 64-bit support?
Yeah, okay. A question by Hans. This is on the table. It's definitely going to happen. I don't know exactly when, but what I can tell you is that when it will happen, we will be only a 64-bit product and not both 32-bit and 64-bit. We won't be able to provide for both. So this is why it will happen in the time that we will feel that the market is actually more 64-bit than 34-bit. True that development environments are all 64-bit, but we still think that we need to provide for 32-bit environments. But again, Hans, this will happen, definitely, in both your and my time, hopefully.
Mark asked, when will be a new version to download? And I can say that our single edition will be May 12th. That's what we plan to. I recommend to follow us on social media. Follow us on our Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. You will see the updates there, and again in our website. Jean-Michel asks, do you plan to embed DVExpress.NET library?
Okay, regarding DevExpress, we cannot embed the .NET library itself. This you need to download from DevExpress. What we do provide is a set of examples that use DevExpress within the product. So if you install Magic 2.5 as well, you will see a whole application that deals with DevExpress. So what you need to do is to download the latest DevExpress library, change the application that we provide to fit these libraries, and your application will use DevExpress.
Question by Marcel: when you support 64-bit drivers for Oracle clients?
When we become a 64-bit product, then we will be able to connect to 64-bit Oracle clients. Until then, you will need to download 32-bit clients on Windows and other platforms.
All right. To all our participants, I would like to thank you very much for your time. We would love to get your comments, feedback. Meet us on our website and social media. And for any more questions, you can always contact either support or your local sales manager, so he can provide you with the licenses. And I wish everybody a happy upgrade to Magic xpa 3. And Hans said to give happy birthday to Yuval, and that's right.
Thanks, Hans.
Yuval has a birthday today. Thank you very much. Thank you.